Hello gamers, welcome to another edition of Tonight on Mage Hammer's Game Table, where tonight I'm continuing my series featuring Gravity, Drives, and Dangers, a space opera role-playing game designed by me. And I began the campaign for this a couple episodes ago, where I rolled to see which kind of flavor of campaign would be, and the flavor that came up was kind of a galaxy fleet, I call it, which is kind of like a Star Trek-ish kind of story. And at the end of last episode, they had resolved the mystery, I guess, and I won't give too much away. And they were traveling back to Galaxy Fleet headquarters, and I rolled off camera for their encounters, and there were none. So I was like, well, I'm not going to make a video about something that doesn't happen, and it's just a boring drive home. So I felt, though, that these characters didn't quite get enough of a run, so I'm going to begin another adventure with these characters tonight. And well, these characters, speaking of which, it's the crew of the Galaxy Fleet starship Apollo Gama. It's a medium exploration starship from Galaxy Fleet, and Captain Poldath Rockhammer is her captain, and she is a Drandar. She used to be an explorer before she joined Galaxy Fleet, and joined Galaxy Fleet as an explorer, and has worked her way up to captain. Her science officer and executive officer is Lathala Duchan, who is an Eld, which are basically space elves, I suppose, and Drandar are basically space dwarves, I guess, if you're looking at it from a fantasy situation. She is she was a scholar. She entered Galaxy Fleet and has worked her way up to commander, and is now the executive officer. Kataria Ranvar is the security officer. She is a Lotharian. She was a soldier off on Lothar, and then decided to join Galaxy Fleet when she retired from service, and to devote her life to security on Galaxy Fleet starships. And finally, the Slytherin engineer, chief engineer of the ship, of the Apollo Gama, is Skorth Renchi Pathias, and he is a pure engineer, and so he knows what he's doing. And he has a small contingent. There is a crew of about 50 on this medium exploration ship, and then they have their pilot, Kester 5, and he is a next gen. I don't have him statted up. He's just the pilot. I don't want to minimize pilots throughout history, but he's not a quote unquote name character, or however you want to say it. But anyway, so that is the characters I've created and run. If you go back and watch the past couple of episodes, you can see them in action, but tonight they're going to be in action again. So I have been using Captain's Log, Star Trek Adventures Captain's Log solo role-playing game. I got a question from Solo Spelunking in my comments, and he asked if I could recommend this as a game, and I'm going to unfortunately have to say no, just because I've never played it. I bought it mostly for my son, but I also thought that I would eventually play it sometime. But as I went to skim through it and look through it, I realized it was a bit crunchy for my stage of gaming. As I've gotten older, I prefer a lot of more minimalist / rule sets, as you can tell by the games that I've designed myself, and most of the games that I feature on this channel. Anyway, but looking at the encounter tables as I was looking through the book and through the system, I was like, ooh, well, that's about as pure Star Trek as you can get. So that's why I'm using it for this particular series, featuring my game Gravity, Drives, and Dangers, which I think also highlights the versatility of my system, that it can play as Star Trek, a Star Wars, a Firefly. I can play almost any sci-fi game, really. It's just that the classes, the professions, and the kindreds are all focused more on a space opera kind of game. Anyway, so I just wanted to put that out there for you all out there, especially Solo Spelunking, which I answered in the comments. You can read those comments, but I also wanted to put it out here on the video. And once again, thank him for all his support, and for his interest in my channel as well. And I would highly recommend you go check out Solo Spelunking stuff, because he's so much fun. His stuff's really good. All right, anyway, so that's that little caveat there. But so right out of the gate, I'm actually going to use the Star Trek Adventures Captain's Log and counter tables, and we are going to generate a mission from the ground up. Now, I used my Inkwell side quest deck for the last adventure, and that worked out pretty well. I really enjoyed that adventure, but I thought let's go pure Star Trek-ish, since this particular style is an homage to Star Trek anyway. So, all right, so here we go. Mission type. Start by rolling mission type matrix, D20, or roll a 20. Roll 2 mission types. Ooh, I don't think I'm going to do that. That's too much right now. So let's do 1 mission. Oh my gosh, it's bound and determined to get me to do 2 mission types. I only want 1 mission. Okay, there we go. So that is a 9. Okay, medical. So we go to the medical table. I think there's a medical table. Yes, there is. And we rolled 3. That's exciting. I'm not going to tell you what that is because I want it to be a surprise. And let's see. That is... All right, so then after you do that, I did that. Incident and theme. So we'll roll an incident. Okay, 14. All right. And a theme. Okay. All right. So I'm going to make some notes here. I don't want to give away too much at this juncture. Just know that I'm rolling on the table in the rule book, but I want it to be, you know, I want you guys to go along with the adventure as we go. I don't want to give away everything that's going to be happening right here and now. So I'm going to take a few notes on a note card. Always have note cards near your gaming station, folks. They're a gamer's best friend next to dice. All right, so we've got the mission. And just for the record, the roles completely 100% make sense for each other, which is really cool. All right. All right, so the one thing came up. I might tweak that a little bit to fit the narrative a bit better, but that's all right. An advantage and a complication. The advantage. Okay. All right, so that came up as that. I know this isn't real exciting television right now, but I wanted you guys, I don't want to give away too much, but I want you to know that I'm designing this as I go using these tables. That's 9 again. Ooh, I don't necessarily like the sound of that, but we'll put it down anyway. It gives me an idea anyway, so that's good. Then add even more excitement by rolling on the encounters matrix, page 270. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. All right, and then generate people, places, and things you may encounter during this mission using the various probability matrices in appendices 2 and 4. All right. All right. Write your opening captain's log. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. All right, so let's give me some ideas. And appendices. So that's how quickly you can generate an adventure here. But appendices 2 on for NPCs and stuff. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. So that's good. I'll mark that with a bookmark, and I will move on to the adventure. So, the captain and Lethala are brought in for a briefing to Galaxy Fleet headquarters. There's a matter of utmost importance, and it it involves an old colleague of Lethella to Chan, so they're choosing the Apollo Gama for this particular mission. So, here is what's going on. I'm trying to find a place that generates names and stuff. I think it's in the appendices 2 through 4. I want like an NPC. I could just give them a name. I'm, knock on wood, have a bunch of them jumping around my head, but let's see if they, non-player characters, there we go. Yeah, I don't need to generate that. It's obviously a scientist. We're gonna say a medical focus because that fits the theme. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. I'm gonna say it is an Eld as well. And we're gonna say it's a former lover of Lethella, so that will make things interesting. And he is a medical officer in Galaxy Fleet. Good, 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 okay. And then, yeah, so, and he's gotten himself into some kind of trouble, and Galaxy Fleet has been called upon to help. So exactly what we're talking about here is, there's a place to generate, I guess, planet names. So let's see where we are here. You know, civilization, planet, system generation. It doesn't necessarily have a list of names, it doesn't look like. So I'm going to make up a name of the planet. We're going to call it, Sarek. Sarek Mon, and it is an Eld colony planet that has been established several hundred years ago. But Lethella's past lover, we're going to call him Tashaw, and Tashaw has messed up quite a bit, and so they need to quickly make their way to the planet to provide aid. So, based on what I rolled up, their mission is to make their way to Sarek Mon and deliver a synthesized vaccine for a bioweapon that Tashaw was developing. However, this is very hush-hush and classified, and only Lethella and Poldath are the only ones on the ship who are to know exactly what's been going on. And the official record says that Tashaw was working outside of Galaxy Fleet parameters to create the weapon. And that's the story that Lethella and Poldath have been given by the leadership. They leave immediately with the vaccine being loaded onto their ship, enough for everybody on the planet. And I'm going to determine, it's a decent jump away, so I'm going to say it's 1d3 plus 1 jumps away, because I rolled up deep space, so 3 jumps. So we're gonna make 3 jumps, or folds, not jumps, folds. Getting all my terminology messed up. All right, they're gonna make they have to make 3 folds to make it to Sarek Mon, and they need to make it as quickly as possible. So they are sending experimental engineering specs to Scorth for him to be able to juice the engines, the fusion engines, so that they can make a lot better time between their folds because of the urgency of the situation. They need to get this vaccine there as quickly as possible, or else the planet may end up engulfing the planet. So That is the mission, and that is what we're going to do. We're going to start with the first fold. They go to their ship, they got their orders, they get all their dossiers and all the stuff they need. Skorth is given, the vaccine is already loaded into the hold of the Apollo Gama, and Skorth has been given the engineering specs, and so he needs, once they make their fold, he's going to see if he can juice the engines in the recharge. All right, so they fold 50 light years on course for Sarek Mon, and now they need to roll to see how often they recharge their engines. Now, recharging engines and gravity drives and dangers takes 1d3 plus 1 days for the gravity drive to recharge. And we're going to have Skorth make a engineering roll to see if he can shorten that. So 4, 6, 7. So I think what I'm going to do is, if he is able to juice the engines, they only have 1 day before they can fold again, if he can follow the specs that were given to him. So his engineering is a 7 dice, and that's 7 dice there. I'm going to give him an additional 2 thanks to the schematics that were given to him by Galaxy Fleet. And I'm going to say it is a DL6 to be able to get the engines to recharge the gravity drive as quickly as they need it. So we've got 3. Oh my gosh. Last episode was a bunch of exploding dice. I have a feeling this episode is going to be a bunch of failed dice. All right, well, I mean, there might be some kind of miracle here. He's a miracle worker. All right, so he needs 2 more exploding dice. Oh, he does not get it. So he only gets 5 successes, so he's not able to juice the engine, so it's going to take 1d3 plus 1 days. So 2 days, though, that's not too bad. Maybe his engineering stuff there actually made a difference. So 2 days. We'll roll to see if they have an encounter. Since they're fairly close to Galaxy Fleet headquarters, we'll say they only have an encounter on 1. And oh my gosh, they have an encounter. So I'm going to go back to the Star Trek Adventures Captain's Log, go to the encounter matrix, and we shall see what is going to happen. What that encounter probability matrix, we're going to call it, I guess we'll call it deep space, because technically they're not inside of a solar system or anything. So here we go. So 20. Man, that's the same thing that happened last episode. So that's very interesting. So maybe a whole story is folding out of these random encounters as we speak. All right. So Lethella says, Captain, on our last mission, remember, we were almost pulled into a random fold, which turned out to be not so random. My instruments are, the computer sensors are pulling up that same kind of interference right now. Has the same signature. All right. Engineer Pathias, make sure we do not get pulled into that fold. Yes. Kenster, be ready. Yes, sir. Yes, Mom. Sorry, Mom. Yes. Don't forget. All right, so Skorth, suddenly the fold starts to unfold around them, and Skorth, no, I think this better be a piloting roll. So Kenster has 6 dice for piloting, and with help from Skorth, I'll give him 2 additional dice. So I'm going to say it's a DL5 that pulled themselves out of this random fold. It's almost like they're being forced to fold, not by their own engines. So that is 4, 5, 6. Okay, so they made it. So they avoid being pulled into that fold, and Lethella is recording the information going forward. Yes, we managed to avoid it, Captain, but and it is coming from that same planet. Didn't we send Galaxy Fleet information there? Yes, and they are yet to launch the mission. I believe it is still in planning. All right. Well, not our problem right now. We have more pressing matters. So that was an encounter for their recharge. The 2 days pass, and now they're going to fold again. They fold. He's going to attempt to juice the engines using that same kind of thing. And they need DL6. And it looks like they may have gotten it this time. So they got 2, 4, 6 right out of the gate with 2 exploding. Oh, 7. 2 exploding. Yeah, oh wow, even more exploding dice. All right, so that's 3, 6, 9, 10. So that's 10 successes. They are able to juice the engines to only spend 1 day recharging, but let's see if they have an encounter anyway. And we're still going to keep it at 1. And so no encounter for this second fold. Then they fold again. He's going to try to juice the engines according to the Galaxy Fleet specs that were sent to him. And using the same kind of thing, DL6 to juice the engines. That's 3, 6, 7, 8. Yikes, and 2 exploding dice. Oh my gosh. There's another exploding dice. We're at 9. Okay, so the engines are juiced and doing no harm. And so they fold again after a day. And now they're going to use their fusion engines to make their way to Sarek Mon. And so they arrive at the planet, and Kenster puts them into orbit. And they Lethella sends down a hailing and asks for them to respond. And there's some interference, but eventually a Eld with little gray at his temples and his pointed ears, of course, says, "Yes, this is Tashaw, Chief Medical Officer of the Sarek Mon planetary government." Is that you, Lethella? Yes. You identify yourself as part of this planet. Are you no longer a Galaxy Fleet officer? Oh, yes, of course. Listen, we are in grave danger. Thank you for heeding our call. Yes, we came as quickly as we could. Yes, I'm afraid you are close to almost too late. What is going on? People are dying. Yes, we were told. However, the planet is unstable, and it may end up exploding, and there are many earthquakes and geothermal burstings, and we're not sure what exactly is causing it, but some people say that there's not enough people to maintain the planetary stabilizers that they've used to colonize. Yes, Tashaw, we need to get the vaccine to the... Yes, what I'm telling you is I'm not sure there's enough time to bring the vaccine to the surface. I think we need to be evacuated. We do not have... Listen, this is Poldath Rockhammer, captain of the Apollo Gama. Listen, Tashaw, we must get this vaccine to you. Yes, but you're not listening, Captain. The planet is unstable. Yes, our instruments are reading that. We could try to get as many people off of the planet as possible, but nobody will reach us in enough time, so what do you suggest? Well, we think that if we can get to the planetary stabilizers, that we can maybe stabilize the planet enough so that we can at least get people who are sick to where they need to go. Well, how many planetary stabilizer places are there? Well, there are 2 on each hemisphere, so that's 4. 1 is still operational, other 3 are not. My scientists believe that if we can stabilize just 1 more of them, then we might be able to stabilize the planet long enough to deliver the vaccine and get the people who are sick back into health and be able to run these planetary stabilizers. Otherwise, I'm afraid this planet may come apart. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to send down a shuttle to whichever place you send us to with a team, and they will try to stabilize that area. And then we will go from there. Okay, Captain, thank you. Unfortunately, I think that's our best option, and we are running out of time. Yes, understood. All right, send us the coordinates, and we will send down a shuttle immediately. And so, yes, thank you, Captain. And it's good to see you again, Lethella. And then they cut off communication, and Captain Poldath, she says, all right, Skorth, you, and I want Kataria and Lethella with me. Let us go. All right, Captain. But I might suggest this is very dangerous. Should we send the captain of the ship? I will oversee all of this. Skorth, you may need to bring another engineer. So get one and get to the shuttle immediately. We leave immediately. Yes, Captain. Yes. I know just the person. So they head off to their to the shuttle, and Skorth calls for a particular engineer who I don't know who that is, so I'm just going to grab bag into my miniatures box and pull somebody out, and they're going to be the engineer. And so it looks like, well, probably should get somebody of a kindred that's on the ship. Oh, yeah, we'll do that. It will be a synthoid engineer, designated as SB 505, and he is the he's a synthoid engineer, and he will be accompanying the landing party. All right, so they get in the shuttle, they fly down, and then they come to the area, and it's pretty beat up because of the planetary destabilization. So there's, cracked sidewalks, plants, so forth and so on. And then I guess I will make, yeah, okay, I got an idea. Okay, so set up the map. They set the shuttle down outside of that area. I guess that'll do. I guess I could add more over here, looking at the camera, give it a little more real estate. There's tremors happening occasionally. There is, every once in a while, steam is escaping from something in this area. So that is what they are encountering as they approach. And then the destabilization area, we'll put it right here, right in the middle. And they're gonna make their way to it. All right, here we are. Kataria, help us maintain the perimeter. Aye, aye, Captain. And she walks about, keeping an eye out for things, looters, anything like that. Skorth and SB 505 head to the control panel. All right, they're taking a look at things. Lithella and the captain are there to offer aid if possible. Where is everybody? Well, as Tashaw said, they are probably sickened by the virus. All right, well, let us get to what we need to get to. All right, yes, let me see. So Skorth is going to take an engineering role to make sure he understands the logistics of this particular machine. He's got 7 dice. I'm going to say a DL4 to figure it out. And he gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus an exploding die, so 6. So yes, so he has no problem figuring out exactly what this particular machine does. However, it's broken. Yes, it's been destabilized. And so right now, I'm going to roll a D6 and a D3. Some kind of environmental hazard happens, and something is going to happen. So I'll do 1, 2, it'll be some kind of geyser. 3, 4, it'll be some kind of earthquake tremor. 5, 6, it will be like maybe their surrounding buildings, something's going to fall on them. So something is about to fall on them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll reroll 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Kataria, piece of rubble is about to fall on her head. Let's see if she is able to avoid it. We'll give her an agility resistance roll of DL4 because she doesn't necessarily see it coming, and she only has 2. So we'll see what happens. And there's an exploding die. Nope, not enough. And so she gets hit by the falling debris. I'll have that do 2d6 damage. So she takes 11 damage. When you roll straight up damage in this game, much like Dells and Dangers, it does not, that damage is not, does not explode. So it takes 11 damage. Boom! Kataria gets hit on the head. Ah! And so she is down to that many stamina, which is not great. That was a heck of a blow. And I'm going to give her a strength resistance roll to remain on her feet. Yeah, she makes that easily, plus exploding dice. So she is standing on her feet, but rubbing her head, and she's a bit woozy. I shall see to you. So Lethala runs over and administers a, she has a medtech regenerator, and that restores 6 for now, and she's going to continue to treat Kataria. Now we're going to go over to Skorth and SB 505, and they're trying to get this thing to work. So Skorth is going to repair. His repairing roll is 7. And then because SB 505 is here assisting, I'll give him 2 additional dice. And it needs to repair, I'm going to say it needs to be 3 DL5s to be able to repair it to get it back into place. And so they got the 5 for sure. This first test, 5, exploding dice, yeah. So they got the DL5. So that's 1 step towards repairing it, but it's going to take 2 more. And then we're going to roll to see if something else happens as the environment is destabilizing. Once again, more falling stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if it's 6, it's going to miss them. 6, so it falls close to the captain. Hurry up, Skorth. I don't know how much more time we have. Yes, we're trying. And so we'll give them another, she's going to hit him with another, or hit her with another medtech generator roll. 7, ooh, that's good. So she is fully recovered from her blow to the head, thanks to medtech technology. And now back to another roll. So that is 7 repair roll plus 2 more because of SB 505 aiding him. And they need a DL5. Ooh. Okay, so, they're at 3, 4. These 2 exploding dice need to yield successes. Ooh, 1 does. Whew, that was close. So 5. So they have 1 more roll to go. We're going to see what kind of environmental thing happens. This time it's going to be, what did I say that was? That was a geyser, the 3, 4 with the tremors. So we're going to see if a geyser pops up underneath any of our characters. No. More. Quickly, Skorth. Yes, Captain. And so this is their final roll. They need a DL5. They get this. They're good. Another, if not, more destabilization. Oh, wow. Skorth really, and SB 505 really came up to... Yeah, they stepped up to the plate on that one. So they were able to turn on the machine. Lethala sends communication with her communicator up to the ship. Inform to Shaw that we have activated the device. And the communications are still a bit thrown off by the planetary crumbling, but they get a reply. Yes, we see it, says to Shaw, directly communicating with them. The planet has stabilized a bit. Now we need to get the other 2, but in the meantime, feel free to bring down the vaccine. And so they fly down the vaccine, and that's where we're going to end this episode. We'll see what happens next. All right, folks, there you go. More Gravity Drives and Dangers. That was pretty exciting for me. I had a good time. So let me know what you thought in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my newest member, Kai. Kai, thank you so much. And then, of course, there's Todd, Tabletop Wanderer, Surf Monkey, and Jamie. Thank you guys so much, my members. I can't express to all of you who are sharing this with me how much it means to me. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Until next time, keep on rolling dice and playing games. Magehammer out.